everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Juliet, and in today's video, we are going to be budgeting my husband's first paycheck in the month of May 2023 in YNAB. YNAB stands for You Need a Budget, which is a web-based budgeting software program. It is literally the best budgeting software there is out there, in my opinion. I have been using YNAB since November 2022. It has absolutely changed my perspective on money and has made me feel very empowered by the choices that I'm able to make with my finances. In March 2023, after my husband and I closed on our first home, we decided to combine finances and have a joined budget in YNAB. So this is the only budget we use. We used to have separate budgets in YNAB, but since we're married and we share all checking and savings accounts, it was just easiest to have a combined budget. So we are working on a dual income. This is my husband's paycheck. It's $1,736.18. This does include 8 hours of overtime since my husband does work in the restaurant industry and is able to get overtime pay. First thing we need to tackle in May 2023 is actually a few underfunded categories. So if I click the underfunded button, you will see that we need to fund $68.30 to home maintenance, $50 to home improvement, $156.25 to roof, and $40 to my hair, makeup, and skincare category. So in terms of home maintenance, we are allocating more money here because my husband and I are wanting to get our gutters cleaned. We did get an estimate for $600, but me being the anxious type I am, I want to have this category up to $800 just so we have a little wiggle room in case the actual work is over $600. But if it's exactly $600, that's great. That just means we'll have $200 left over to do what we want for our house. Next, for home improvement, this is just something that I just want to throw more money at to make sure that we can have money available if we want to make additional improvements to the house that would improve our living situation, improve the functionality of our home, and so forth. The roof, this is something that my husband and we sat down, we talked about our priorities with our budget, and we decided that funding a roof replacement is non-negotiable for us. We should just treat this as a regular bill that we're paying to ourselves for the time being, because eventually the roof will need to be replaced, and it's a lot easier to save up for this over time and have some money in there versus scrambling, in 2034 to get this 20K funded. Next, for my hair, makeup, and skincare, I have rolled money from this category into a different category, so I'm just kind of topping this off. So we'll assign the money here, and we're down to $1,421.63. So now we're able to flip to June 2023, which is where we left off in the previous Budget With Me video. One thing you will pretty much notice right away is that there is nothing funded in June 2023. And in the last two Budget With Me videos, we had gotten pretty far in getting June 2023 budgeted for and almost being able to budget into July. However, I'm very indecisive, and for some reason, I was very anxious about making sure that our health insurance and out-of-pocket max line item was fully funded. So I have actually rolled the money that was once allocated in June 2023 across multiple line items into this single category, as well as taking money out of the 2023 tax goal to make sure that this out-of-pocket max category is fully funded. So the money is still there. It's just allocated in a different place in the budget. But, this, technically puts us back to being just a month ahead, where we're using May's paychecks to fund June's expenses, which, is totally fine. That is not a problem at all. If there was really an emergency, we do have a lot of different outlets where we could get money and fund into future months as needed. But just in terms of financial security, I really wanted to make sure that all three of our deductibles were fully covered just in case something horrible would happen, and the out-of-pocket max was just our final one that we needed to fund. So I decided to move money out of other categories to fund this. So now we need to rebudget June 2023. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into debts, and we're going to fully fund these student loan categories. So I have 2 federal student loans from graduate school when I got my master's degree. These payments here, the 210.49 and the 220.25, these are just the minimum payments I would need to make in order to pay off these loans in 10 years. I would really love to pay these off way before the 10-year mark, but for right now, I'm just setting aside this minimum payment so that when the time does come for repayment to start, I can throw a good chunk of money or a relatively good chunk of money at my loans initially to kind of bring down the principal. And then I will start kind of tackling these a bit more as we see fit in our budget. So anyways, $430.74 will go there. And then we have our monthly fixed expenses. So we can go ahead and cover HOA for $148, car insurance for $292.68, internet for $81.59, iCloud for $3.98, Spotify for $15.99, Apple Care for my husband, which is $7.99, and then I will just go ahead and fully fund all of these. And then we'll talk about what's happening down here in the extra payment to student loans and Roth IRAs. So I have found recently that I am very impacted psychologically by where categories are in my budget. So, for example, this extra payments to student loans was originally in this debts category group. That was all fine and dandy, except for the fact that I would always want to take money out of this category. And while student loans don't need to be repaid right now, I'm not doing right by myself. I am not, being realistic with my budget by taking money out of these debt categories. So, what I've decided to do here is I have made this a monthly fixed expense because I see all of these categories as non-negotiables. I have to fund them. I have a bill that's coming out. This has to be funded or bad things will happen kind of vibes. So what I've done is, I've set a target of $50 for extra payments to student loans. I've actually scheduled automatic payments to my loan service provider, Nelnet, for $50 a month to be put towards principal on my student loan with the highest interest rate of 5.28%. And so for me, this changes how I view this category by setting in place these restrictions on how this money can be utilized. The same goes for Roth IRAs. I have set up a monthly contribution to my Fidelity account to always take out $50. So if this is not funded, then it's going to be an overspent category. It's going to be something that I didn't appropriately budget for. So just having the placement of these categories under monthly fixed expenses, having a real auto pay coming out and knowing that it's coming out has changed my perspective on these categories and forces me to be serious about them. So we'll go ahead and fund these for $100. And now we can move on to our monthly variable expenses. So we can go ahead and fund the water bill for $50, natural gas for $80, electric for $100, Nespresso pods for $80, and then we'll go ahead and fund those. And then what we can do is do our parking and tolls, which you'll notice is a lot lower amount than what I've typically assigned in the past. I will talk about this more in a future budget with me video, but for right now, let's just go with the $10 because I'm not really parking that much at work and I'm not using the Peach Pass, which is the tolls in Georgia. But again, I will have a really good explanation for that. So anyways, underfund for $10. And then the $20.66 left to assign, what we can do with that is we can go ahead and throw it into my dog's fun money category. And then the 66 cents can go into the high priority savings goals, which is just one goal of the taxes. So we'll add in that last 66 cents there. And now we have $0 left to assign. So that concludes this Budget With Me video. We have $6,432.85 left to assign. We will definitely be able to handle the rest of the monthly fixed expenses in the next Budget With Me video. That will basically wipe out my entire paycheck, but we will figure out what to do with the remaining dollars in this budget. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps my channel, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.